Interior, chic, upscale hotel room, night. Stephanie sits in front of a mirror as she applies lipstick. The doorbell rings. Stephanie smiles, shifts her eyes in the direction of the doorbell, places the lipstick down, and turns toward the door. Stephanie enters the hallway, leans to look through the peephole. She slumps her shoulders down, pauses, then opens the door. Standing in the doorway is Michael.
You going to invite me in?
I'm expecting a guest. What do you want?
I have a proposition.
We're done, and you know that.
Come on, Steffi. Just hear me out. It's for your benefit.
Talk to Keith. You've got nothing I want to hear.
Come on, Steffi. We don't need to bring an attorney in. This is just between friends.
Oh, we're friends now.
Of course. Just give me a few minutes. It may be the best proposition you get all day.
What is it?
You have to invite me in first.
Stephanie opens the door wider. With one hand on the doorknob, she waves the other arm towards the interior of the hotel room. Michael moves past her into the room. Stephanie pauses at the door, closes the door, and follows him in. Michael stands in the middle of the room, surveying the space.
Nice. But then you always had a taste for nice things.
Yeah, but it's the other taste that pays more.
Just all part of the business.
Stephanie moves around Michael and sits down on the sofa. Michael starts to sit down next to her. Stephanie holds out her hand, palm up.
I'd be more comfortable if you sat over there.
Stephanie points to a chair near the end of the sofa, facing towards the sofa at an angle. Michael pauses, shrugs his shoulders, and then sits on the chair.
You comfortable now?
Not completely, but it's better.
Whatever I can do to accommodate you.
Tell me why you're here.
I told you. I have a proposition. A deal. In your best interest.
I take care of my own interest.
And up to now, you've done very well.
What's different now?
You're getting in over your head. You've messed with the wrong guy.
From what I remember, he was just another guy, more or less. Most of the time, less.
You're not as smart as I thought if you think he's just a Joe Schmo.
You forget. I've seen his balls hanging. He's got Schmo written all over him.
We're talking about one of the most powerful men in the world.
He ain't there yet.
This is a man who could stand on Fifth Avenue and shoot someone in broad daylight and nothing would happen to him. That's the kind of guy you're messing with.
My experience is that he couldn't hold a gun up long enough to shoot anyone. He's not exactly the best aim either.
And that is exactly the kind of slanderous comment you have to stop making.
Who says?
We had a contract. You were paid to keep your mouth shut.
Well, according to my attorney, all of that was tossed out the window when your chubby little friend started bragging about his time with me.
Unfortunately, we're dealing with a very impulsive man. I'm here to correct the outcome of those actions and fix it for good. I have been instructed if reasoning does not work, I am to apply more aggressive methods. I hope you accept this.
The Veterans Memorial Cemetery Foundation?
We moved some money around to keep his name off it. You're listed as a consultant.
Consultant for people permanently on their backs. Funny.
You think this is enough?
You think this is enough for me? Ever since my interview with CNN and Good Morning America, I've been making over $70,000 a night.
But with that check, you won't have to do those clubs anymore.
Look at this. I have invested a lot of money in this. You think I don't want to show this off?
How long do you think they'll keep paying for it?
A lot longer than this, and a lot longer than the 8 years he's hoping for.
Michael stands up abruptly. He straightens up, casually walks around the back of the chair, pauses, smoothing the fabric with his hand, looks at Stephanie.
You have no assurances.
What, like medical? Don't worry about me, I'm covered.
Michael moves towards Stephanie as he walks behind the sofa, softly trailing his hand along the back of the sofa.
Steffi, I mean future assurances, assurance that what you enjoy now, you will always be able to maintain and enjoy later.
Michael slowly moves behind Stephanie.
Your career is not only very unpredictable, it comes with some degree of danger.
I've been taking care of myself since I was 16.
Just consider yourself very lucky. I mean, inviting strangers here in your home to conduct business, that opens you up to all kinds of tragic possibilities.
I told you, I can take care of myself. This ain't my home, it's my office. I've always separated my personal life from the business.
Stephanie shrugs her shoulders. Michael moves his hands around the base of her neck.
You ignore a non-disclosure agreement. You won't listen to friendly advice. You don't even want money. What's left?
Stephanie attempts to stand up, but Michael holds her down. He tightens his grip. Stephanie reaches up with her hands to pour down on his.
More aggressive measures is all that's left.
Stephanie digs her nails into Michael's left hand, breaking skin. Michael releases his grip and pulls away from Stephanie. Stephanie jumps up from the sofa, grabs a letter opener from the end table, and faces Michael.
You fucking psycho! Get the hell out of here before I castrate you and send the parts to your keeper.
Michael stands stunned, rubbing his bleeding hand.
What the hell, Steffi? Why the hell did you do that?
You think you can put your hands on me and do whatever you want?
I didn't mean to. It was just trying to make a point.
And I have made mine. Go tell that asshole that all bets are off. I'm gonna rip that election right from under his fat, stinking feet.
Now, Steffi, calm down. Put down the knife. We can still talk about this. You don't want to do anything foolish.
The only foolish thing I've ever done was invite some ass-licking bloodsucker into my space. Now get the fuck out of here. I've got a client coming, and if you don't clear out, you're going to have more publicity than you can handle. And I've got the DNA to put you away.
Michael moves around Stephanie. She pivots as he moves, holding the letter opener towards him. Michael quickly moves toward the door and leaves. Stephanie drops the letter opener on the end table and covers her face with both hands. She shakes her head, drops her hands to her side, straightens up, and then moves over to the mirror and begins to reapply her makeup. Interior hallway outside of Stephanie's room, continuous. Paulette is standing, leaning on the opposite wall. When Michael comes out, Paulette walks towards him.
You done with your business?
Yeah, I guess it's your turn. She mentioned she was expecting you.
Right.
Paulette moves in front of the entrance to Stephanie's room. Michael pulls out a handkerchief and presses it on his bleeding hand.
And when you're done, make sure you pull out her fingernails. I don't want anything left behind.
Before or after?
That's up to you.
Sure, no problem.
Paul raises his hand to knock on the door. She pauses and turns to look back at Michael. Michael nods to Paulette, then walks away down the hall. Paulette waits a few seconds, then knocks on the door.
That would be great to see staged. It has a lot of movement in it that really would be great. So
That was
you made
good.
my skin
That was
crawl, and I
very
mean that
good.
as a huge compliment.
It's creepy.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
creepy, but it was good.
FMG, foreign medical graduate, a medical doctor who graduated from a non-North American, i.e. Canada or US, medical school. McGraw-Hill Concise Dictionary of Modern Medicine. Exterior, Garden Laboratory Meeting, Day, Brooklyn, 1999. At a table in the Brooklyn Botanical Garden Cafe, Gunther and Ming study a manuscript. It's a cloudless day in late spring. Clock on an adjacent concrete pillar shows 11 a.m. Huang arrives, flustered, throws herself on a chair across from Gunther, her books on the table. Breathless, she reads from a piece of paper.
Professor Gunther, sic biscuitus disintegrate means what?
Why?
I said the F was late. The boss said, okay, and the biscuit.
It means that's the way the cookie crumbles in Latin. You are late.
Latin, huh? In 11 months, we have no salaries in English. And where's the application together? How can she do that if she's pulled to patient care again? Has anyone seen the last draft?
It's solid, innovative, crisp, sexy, very fundable. Semla could give herself a raise for a change. She makes peanuts here.
You can't know Dr. Hazan's salary.
No, can and do. My husband has an HR contact here, so.
Gunther leans back, arms clasped behind his head, eyes closed, face to the sun.
My kingdom for my own practice. No academia in my future. You would not have it. Plus, look at Semla. She lives like in the lab. I want a life. My PhD will be a decoration on the wall.
He rolls the paper into a ball and throws it into a nearby trash can. He misses, gets up and puts it in.
That's my PhD diploma.
My dad liked the draft I emailed him. Still, the funding rate is dismal.
What other confidential information do you disperse, Wang?
Who cares? My dream of working with my husband on multiple sclerosis in our own lab is broken now. We wrote 3 grants that were rejected. We can't qualify for institutional funds. My husband decided that academia is a death sentence for FMGs. Life wasted.
Semla is not proof of that principle. It's hard for a Muslim woman to go forward, run a productive laboratory, or even harder to be heard in the community. But that won't stop her. Science is her DNA.
A bacon-eating, wine-drinking Muslim, huh?
Ask your husband. Even better, your dad. The great Shanghai hematologist.
My dad graduated from Harvard Med. Such devotion to the boss. Impressive.
She is why I have publications and go to meetings and make contacts. It's because of her that we publish real science, in case you missed it, not a stamp collection of case reports.
Your spouse is Huang and Gunther, or your dad Hong. Who cares, right? Let's get on it and get Semra funded. She's in a tough spot, it's obvious.
Take it easy, newbie, Semra, huh?
Wang checks her watch, walks to the glass door of the cafeteria. Semra is waving at them from inside.
Attention, real scientists. The boss is buying us lunch. You, emaciated duo, Gunther Biscuitus, Surfer Boy, follow me. Where's Lee? She should be here.
An hour later, they clean the remnants of lunch off the table, all get ready to leave. Ming sports a baseball hat and shades. Huang has a flower in her hair. Gunther, impeccable in a purple shirt and tie. Semra looks statuesque and in a becoming summery outfit.
Wait a minute, we should take a photo, no? I have a camera. I'll get someone.
Gunther waves to a good-looking server, gives him his digital camera, takes excessive time to show him how to use it. The young man listens. All he has to do is push a button.
Ready?
The man smiles and gives a thumbs up. They gather around Semra in front of Orchids. The photo is taken. Audience sees the photo, which covers the screen, where Beauty is unaware of its presence. After, the group surrounds Gunther and they look through the images on Gunther's camera. Semra tears up, as does Gunther.
Tempest Fugit. This may be our last garden lab meeting.
We'll get funded and have many more.
I'm not going to ask. I don't want to wait tables because you snobs waste time showing off your Latin quotes. I'm heading back to the lab.
Semra high-fives her. Interior. Semra's lab in Brooklyn. Night. Semra and Gunther work on the grant proposal on computers at opposite corners of the dilapidated lab.
Patient data in or out?
Absolutely in. Look at the statistics. The power is as robust as we've ever achieved. It proves we're not descriptive. Put that in your pipe, reviewers.
Don't upset the gods. Statistics do kick ass. Kamo raised the funds from Astro Company that paid the statisticians. We owe him.
No, we do not. The company funded you. You're the authority on bone cancer. The high numbers of patients raised the statistical power. That's because you attend to them as if this is Holly Street. For once, don't funnel the funds back to the lab or to Jeff to put a comma in the right place. Buy your apartment. You should own it. You spend nights here working in here.
I should nothing, Gunther.
Of course. So sorry, Semra. Am I still getting a ride home?
Let's go. Your curfew is nearing.
She collects her papers, hangs her lab coat. Gunther turns and does a double take.
Are you wearing helmet long? Barney's.
Yes and yes. The jacket lining is melting.
Gunther half smiles. He adds water to the incubator. Dr. Dale King, 40, knocks on the open door and walks in, relaxed with a twinkle in his eye, composed. He carries a black coat in an expensive leather bag. Gunther spots him in an instant.
Hi, Dr. King. Semra, we have a guest.
Dale gives a friendly nod at Gunther and aims toward Semra, who glances up at the clock, which Dale notices. Semra, unaware, closes her work bag. Dale extends his hand.
Dale King from Cardiology, Jim Miller's colleague.
Very nice to meet you, Dr. King, but we're on our way out. It's 9 o'clock.
Please, it's Dale. I know the hour. We do help with growing stem cells.
We'll work with you in a week or two.
You're hard to find, and we wait another 2 weeks.
In the interim, I'll send you my own methods.
The unpublished methods. One reagent is omitted and nothing works. Are we missing something obviously omitted by the inner circle?
No, there is no stem cell conspiracy, but trial and error. Method is still open, and I recommend my notes.
Could we meet for lunch until
Sure, I'd like lunch.
this Friday at 1?
Why not?
Thank you, Dr. Hazen.
It's Semra.
Thank you, Samra. Gunther, auf Wiedersehen.
Bis bald.
Me too.
Dale half chuckles and exits quickly.
What is wrong with you? You didn't allow eye contact. You didn't even say his name.
So, do I have to bond? Please don't tutor him on the side. Your husband is at least cool and easy on the eyes.
Touche. I promise not to tutor him. At least, did you notice the cashmere coat?
Hugh is your treasure. Guard him like a hawk. I notice all good coats. It means nothing.
Gunther holds the door for her. Semra exits. Gunther takes a last look back and turns off. Interior, Semmer's Brooklyn laboratory, day. Semmer works at a microscope. Nearby, Huang loads a gel. Harry lightly knocks on the half-open door and enters. The optics of work in Semmer's lab annoys him. He starts coughing. Semmer and Huang look. Semmer walks over to obstruct Harry's approach further.
Chief, welcome.
Greetings. Semra, a word? Dr. Bill Levins, now the fellowship director with substantial executive.
I've heard Dr. Ginsler mentioned it at the parking garage this morning.
Starting next week, you take 2 months of Bill's inpatient service. He'll be too busy.
Huang brings them 2 small bottles of water. Harry raises his palm, shakes his head no. Semmer takes both bottles and chugs one as Harry stares.
A custom from my home, when something beyond control hits you, you wash it down with a big sip of cold water.
That was some sip.
Are you aware of my deadline?
Of course, manage your people, multitask, or postpone your deadline to the next application cycle. You're resourceful.
Are there interim funds?
We applied for those.
How about compensation for said months?
Don't be a broken record. You are a basic scientist with a salary. You cannot have patient revenue. Don't do this, Semra.
I am never compensated for the extra months I cover the patient services. If you think about it, in those months I work for free.
Okay. You have balls to speak to me like this. You're impossible. I brought this for you, but now I'm vexed.
Harry draws a book out from an envelope and puts it on the table near Semra, who looks and feigns a smile.
Wow, the satanic verses. I'll pass.
What's wrong with it?
For one thing, I don't have the time.
It's here for you.
Harry stomps out. Semra throws the book into the trash. Juan observes. Interior, Harry's office, day. Dr. Li Na, a scientist in her 30s and a young mother, sits across from Harry Weiss, her boss, who glares at her. A manuscript lies open on the desk between them. Harry points to a figure in the manuscript.
Lee, rescind the baseless complaint that you did not weigh the mice. Where did these weights come from in this figure?
Dr. Weiss, you never asked me to weigh the animals, so I didn't weigh them. I injected the mice with serum from women who miscarried, but I didn't weigh the mice. Maybe you weighed them. That is not my data. I didn't make that figure.
Okay, you weighed them and you forgot. Face it, you have a psychiatric history. You probably had heavy treatment and your memory's shot.
I had postpartum depression. My memory is fine. Hospital record.
Reviewers want the weights in order to accept this paper for publication. My funding depends on acceptance of this manuscript before I submit my grant. Do not cross me on this.
Dr. Weiss, I never cross you. We can submit to another journal or add more animals or repeat.
Harry stands up, walks around the desk, with one hand on the doorknob, towers over Lee, who still sits in the chair. Harry gets closer to Lee and speaks at her face.
Look at me. In my face, in my eyes. There is no serum left from patients, and miscarriages are very rare. We cannot repeat this experiment anytime soon. Take the manuscript upstairs and think very hard. Your papers and notebooks will be reminders. How you handled the mice and how you weighed them. Also, think about your career, your future, your experiments. Just reflect. Till tomorrow.
He opens the door. Lee, confused and solemn, leaves with the manuscript.
Thanks.
Right. Now we're going to move swiftly on.
Librarians embrace fiction. Courtney is pushing a book cart demonstrating moves for a drill team routine. Amir is clumsily trying to copy her. Elaine enters.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. Can't wait for conference. We'll annihilate the competition.
Excellent. And how are you settling in, Amir?
Very happy to be here.
You need to work on your killer instinct.
We will butt their whoops.
Whoop their butts.
We'll put them through the ringer and hang them out to die.
Hang them out to dry.
I prefer his version, much more vivid.
And accurate. No self-respecting torturer does laundry.
So, Amir, where do you hail from?
I don't hail. No, I never hail. Gives away your position.
Do you ever give anything away?
Courtney.
We've all been wondering.
Don't listen to her, Amir. You're entitled to privacy.
And we're entitled to pry. It's a free country.
Unlike mine. I am refugee from war zone. I'm afraid I cannot be more specific.
I understand. You have family over there.
No, I have no one anywhere.
I'm way sorry.
Where I come from, many people have no family.
Well, that's so tragic.
I'm an asshole.
No, please. I cannot thank you enough, Elaine. Take on stranger with no reference. And Courtney, you teach me to dance with book carts. No more gunfire, no more explosions. Now I do choreography on wheels and I glide in peace and harmony. Trust me, library book cart drill team routine is pinnacle of civilization.
Oh my God. Oh, I had one here when I was violating.
Metaphorically, I love your innocent metaphors. Do not beat yourself off.
It's nearly time to me. You help me on the cooking.
Sure thing, boss. Let's knock them up.
Oh boy. I made a mistake hiring him.
Cool.
He's perfect. The moment I saw him, I just melted.
Go you, Elaine. He practically said he's single.
But I'm his manager. He'll never ask me out.
Well, then ask him.
Oh, that wouldn't be appropriate. He's my direct report.
Elaine, don't give up.
Transported safely, base, communications, operative, atmosphere, breathable, gravitational pull extreme, leaps impossible, detecting organic matter, dead, identifying species. They were once mighty creatures, chopped down in their prime, brutally cut up into horrendously thin slices. There are thousands of victims. I'm in the middle of a mass grave. The kidnappers are clearly barbaric monsters with a ruthlessly efficient organizational streak.
Get in. Follow someone through the staff entrance. I'm supposed to escort you out, but I'll be open in a minute, so I'll cut you some slack.
Do it.
Man, you're hardcore. Hi, I'm Courtney.
Name classified. Rank major. Serial number, eat my spandex.
If you don't want to like talk, that's cool.
What are you doing?
Oh, that one. See, that's one we missed. You see here?
Oops.
Leave it alone. Desecration.
Pardon?
All right, I'll talk. My name is Mage.
Hi, Mage.
Courtney offers a handshake. Mage draws his gun and surrenders it.
Cool.
Courtney playfully aims the gun at Mage.
I'm here on a rescue mission.
How exciting. You always go around like this?
No, I usually say strictly in the fantasy realm.
Like Dungeons and Dragons?
You know about my world?
Well, not a whole lot, but I can understand the fascination. Sometimes reality can like suck.
It ain't so bad once you get used to it. Never thought I'd be supplying a chat with a real person.
It's like nice to meet you too. I'm a lowly shelver. Patrons hardly ever speak to me.
Can we negotiate?
What do you like have in mind?
Name your price.
Come again?
I'll lavish you with precious jewels.
Listen, Buster.
We'll pay any ransom you demand.
Ransom?
For release of your hostage.
You lost me.
We know he's here. We've traced him to these coordinates.
Who?
Corporal, are you all right?
Sir!
Thanks, Sonny. At ease. We'll get you out of here in no time.
Listen, Mage, I'm not going back.
These fiendishly kidnappers, have they brainwashed you?
There was no kidnapping. I came here of my own free will.
You went AWOL?
What's going on?
I misled you, Elaine. I come from video game.
What? Where's your navel?
Proof. I was not born. I was developed. I am fictional character.
I'm not prejudiced. Librarians embrace fiction.
Then I can stay?
Of course.
Think, soldier. Deserters end up court-martialed.
Imaginary courts have like no jurisdiction here.
The doors are open, Amir. We're having an early story time. Would you like to help out?
I would love to. Bye, Mage. Give my love to... Oh, that is right. I do not love anyone back there.
Come on, let's see what we can do.
Corporal, you haven't been dismissed.
Made you think he was like kidnapped.
Why would anyone choose to abandon paradise?
Oh, that's not how he like described it.
Non-stop action. What more could a guy want?
Different kind of action?
I know what. You seduced him. You real women have natural breasts. That's cheating.
So you're like tempted.
In the military, we learn discipline.
Kinky stuff?
Off stage, babies start howling.
Great thunder. What's that? Noise.
Well, don't you have babies in Fantasyland?
We're adults only.
Make them stop! Make them stop! I cannot stand those blood-curdling screams.
They're calming down.
Can you guarantee they will not start again?
No.
So threat is always looming. Mage, open portal.
Prepare for re-entry.
Amir, you're not leaving.
At home, violence is predictable and pretend.
It sounds intriguing. Can I come?
If you like.
Courtney, you're in charge. Ciao.
Amir and Elaine exit through the portal.
Base, copy. Never mind. These things happen. Roger, out.
Something wrong?
Only 2 of us came through. Only 2 can go back.
You're like stuck here?
I wouldn't say stuck. And ain't none of you, and it ain't just your breasts.
Would you like to learn a book cart dance?
Is that what you meant by a different kind of action?
No. For that, well, you'll have to wait till the library closes.
I was laughing practically the entire time. That was great.
Sorry, I was muted part of the time.
A Candlelit Surprise. A short play written by Tasman Jahan. Present day, Singapore. A riverside apartment. Nicholas and Bethany are a married couple in their 50s. Tonight, they are having a lovely candlelit dinner.
Did you want to say something, dear?
Yes, I just want to let you know. I can't believe you went to so much trouble. I mean, dinner was absolutely marvelous. And I just adore my new pink diamond earrings. Much.
Oh, my darling. I'm so pleased that you enjoyed this evening. Isn't Singapore absolutely beautiful this time of year? Makes me feel so happy and alive.
Yes, I was lucky to get the last flight out with my KrisFlyer points. I mean, the agent said February is usually their busiest time for Singapore.
I'm not surprised. I'm so relieved I came out sooner to exchange contracts for our Riverside apartment.
This is truly beyond my expectations. You've really impressed me.
Well, it is imperative that I impress you.
Imperative?
Indeed.
Because?
It has been a while since you and I have spent some quality time together.
I know.
And I love the fact that you are so immersed in your writing career, and so many people adore your work.
I have been very lucky.
I am so happy for you. But, Bethany, I truly love you for who you are. However, I need to raise an issue with you.
Go on.
I need to review some of my options.
You mean at the law firm?
No, work is good. We're busier than ever.
Then what?
I was actually referring to my personal life.
What about your personal life?
Bethany, my darling, I think you are one of the nicest people I've ever met, but it's just not enough for me.
Excuse me?
Well, don't get me wrong. I really love hearing about your amazing accomplishments.
Let's get to the point, Nicholas.
I am finding it difficult to fit in.
Difficult to fit into what?
Well,
is this your awkward way of telling me that you want to leave me?
Oh, why would I leave you? I'm not a fool.
And what is it?
I want you to let me have other interests.
Oh, like a hobby?
I want you to let me spend time with other people.
I thought you did that already.
In the corporate world, yes. But
But what?
you are very smart, kind, beautiful, and very understanding. So I know you will approve eventually.
What do you want me to approve of eventually?
I need a lover who isn't you.
What?
Well, I need to be with someone who isn't you.
Why?
Because I've earned it.
Oh, have you been collecting tokens or something?
Well, I just want someone to be there for me and not face any questions or issues about the outside world. I think they call it switching off now and again.
Oh, so you're philosophizing now about your innate need for a prostitute. Okay.
I really wasn't thinking about a prostitute, but there's an idea.
Nicholas!
Well, please don't raise your voice to me. I'm trying to do the right thing here.
So, the whole purpose of this special dinner was not a romantic gesture at all, but negotiation?
I was actually aiming for a romantic negotiation.
What a horribly wicked way to treat your spouse.
Oh, please don't get all emotional.
I think you've gone mad.
Oh, I am of sound mind, my darling.
Did good old Roger have anything to do with this? I mean, after all, your business partner did leave his wife for a younger woman.
Well, Roger may have indirectly suggested something along those lines.
Why are you listening to him and jeopardizing your own relationship like this? I mean, where is the sense in that?
Well, it is not unlawful to have a full-time lover.
A full-time lover? I cannot believe you are saying these words.
Now be rational.
15 years of marriage down the drain. This is the worst evening of my life.
Oh, my darling, I am taking the legal route here. I am seeking your permission. Without your permission, I have to wait.
The answer is no.
Please, Bethany. Oh, can't you see that I am doing the right thing by asking your permission? I have no intention of doing this behind your back.
I said the answer is no.
I realize that I have just sprung it on you. So would you like 24 hours to think it over?
I don't want these diamond earrings anymore.
Just keep them. I don't want them back.
I hate you right now.
Oh, but I still love every bit of you, even that hideous wart near your groin.
You are one mentally deranged man, and I wish I never laid eyes on you.
That's harsh.
I'm going to kill you.
That's illegal.
I don't care.
Oh, I do.
How long have you been planning this behind my back?
Well, since we exchanged contracts for this apartment, I was quite excited about this idea. So I thought we would discuss the matter over dinner, like sensible adults.
I forbid you to have a full-time lover.
What about a part-time lover?
No, no, no!
I feel crushed.
I feel cheated.
I have not cheated on you. Please be fair in your assessment.
Fine. Okay, I have made a decision too.
What's that?
I will take a lover as well.
Well, this was supposed to be about me and my needs.
Her name is Miranda.
Oh, don't be silly. She's your publisher.
I know.
Oh, you're just being petty now.
I will ask her tomorrow.
Bethany, you can't ask her tomorrow.
Why not?
I was planning to ask Miranda to be my full-time lover.
This is absolutely outrageous.
Where are you going? Don't you want dessert? I got your favorite, the Fortress Stilt Fisherman Indulgence.
Bethany screams with fury. Nicholas awkwardly looks on.
I think in some cases we have to have our mics turned on because I was laughing the whole time.
I was too, yeah.
It's something that you would hate to go through yourself, but you know, watching these two actors with such great chemistry and knowing it's not real is funny. And for what it's worth, once they started talking about Miranda, my jaw legitimately dropped. And I was so glad that my camera was off because it would have looked like, oh, the audience member is mugging. No, I was very surprised. Like, what a plot twist.
Well done, Paul. Well done.
Oh, well done.
Great.
So we could continue the conversation with this one, or we could move to the first one and work our way back.
It's only fair we start with the first one because that's what we usually do.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So that's The Imperfect Storm, which I've been kind of holding on to. So it seems.
For which I wore my sexiest fleece.
It seemed to be relevant now.
Very much so.
It was so creepy. Oh my God, Henry,
Yeah,
wherever you
creepy
are,
is the
I was
word.
so
Definitely.
creeped out. Oh,
It was creepy, but in a good way.
yeah. Oh, it was
Made the-
fantastic.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
good
Great writing.
Yeah, definitely.
And Joyce had brought up this idea, were they vampires? And Joyce, now I remember when I was first writing this, I thought of the idea where you have to invite the vampire in.
Exactly. You were very
I thought so
strong on that.
too. Once he, yeah.
Paul wasn't going to
Yeah.
come in until he got invited.
Right. But they were not vampires, but it was still, and then her giving the remark about being a bloodsucker. It sort of goes to that kind of ideal, but it's not what they were. They were not vampires.
It could be a metaphor. I like both. The politicians and the vampires. I think the two of them could work very well.
They're all
Well,
bloodsuckers.
I think it's because Henry has such a methodical voice.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, gosh, I need a script for you because I want you to scare someone in this really polite, nice way.
And you don't expect him in the beginning to be creepy at all, and then you realize, oh my God, it is actually going down that road.
Well, that's why I thought he was a vampire, because he was so outer-worldly in his speech, you know?
And in the writing, I really liked this play. I'm glad I got to be in it. And I really, someone out there who can actually stage it in a black box is going to love it. Someone sitting in fleece in their bedroom is going to give a different performance.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I really liked the use of, like, the writing was really good. The use of nicknames, especially because, you know, someone who goes by the name Stephanie is not going to be happy being called Steffi as an adult, especially in such a, oh, that was good. Oh, it was creepy. And it,
And I want to thank Joyce for stepping in as it was originally a Paul, but we changed it to a Paulette. Knife she brought to the scene.
Women always have tools. That's what we do.
Yep.
Scary too.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank Henry and Zep for jumping in and Joyce for being there. Thank you very much.
thanks for having me. Thanks for casting me. That was really, it was quite the experience.
Well written, well done.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So second, we had our new writer, Ojai, foreign medical graduate.
Mhm.
Ojai, I have to say that I'm still a little uncertain of what the story was about. It seemed I'm not sure if I kept the characters straight or
Yeah, we were going to introduce the characters in the very beginning. There was a little character list,
okay.
but forgot to read it. So we read it in the rehearsal, but we did not read it at the play. So that really took out a lot. It's retrospectively, since you spent the time to watch it, you might as well know what you watched.
So is primarily the story concerned about them losing their funding or not getting funding? Or is there something else going on under the surface between those characters?
What it is a whole group of people who did not go to medical school here and who were not refugees, who just came to better themselves, think that this is a meritocracy system, and they expect with all their women vigor, they're going to do their scientific best. They cannot, because the roads are blocked. There's only so much money, and it's all divvied up between big labs and famous people. The attraction of tremendous American medicine for all doctors is there, but it's very, very well protected. And it was, at least until recently, foreign medical graduates were really called FMGs. And the hospitals boasted that, oh, this year we have no FMGs in our residencies. They were, it was a point of pride not to have anyone from a foreign medical school. So it's a story that revolves around the character Semra, and it's not all about the grants and the business end of things. It's about how the character changes, and in order to pursue this desire, how much needs to be given until there is nothing to give, and there's sort of a bankruptcy, and what do people do at that moment?
And this is just a piece of a larger piece?
This is a tiny piece of a 100-page screenplay.
Okay.
It was the easiest part to adapt to this venue because of the number of people and the time, but it's not just it's not just a manuscript and a grant, but they were being harassed. I mean, if you could hear that would be like within a large context. They have to abandon the dream. It becomes another American dream.
Okay. And I guess Gunther at one point thinks that Lanai has messed up the data concerning the weights of the mice. And
well, Gunther,
I thought that was
Harry
Harry.
Weiss and Gunther were played by the same actor. So Harry is the department head, and he's making he has all the strings in his hand. He too has a lab, and his career also depends on grants and manuscripts and promotions, but he wants to keep them for himself. He doesn't want to give anything to Semra. He wants to make her work with a very small salary, and he wants to keep his friend Bill in good shape of not doing any service work and paying him more, and have Semra try to do in order to be able to do the science that she wants to do. She has to do free clinical work.
Yeah.
They give her a small salary, but they don't give her any patient revenue. Whereas if Bill were going to do those months that she took over, Bill was going to get patient revenue. So in the screenplay, these are more lightly touched, but better understood because there are several people around. So, but I mean, it may be a difficulty or it may be a critique of the writing. I may revise it, and but it was taken from different parts of a whole.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
All right. Do you have other pieces that you think would work better for this type of venue?
I think so. For example, there's a scene that took place at the Brooklyn Library. Several people from higher up institutions come for a fundraising for a inner city institution. I wanted to show the differences between how just across one river, two sets of hospitals, two sets of doctors, two sets of patients get different treatment, and different different goals are same goals are in fact satisfied in way different ways without really torturing people or requiring people to give so much from themselves and their lives. I do have a lighthearted, the person who was advising me on this grant, she said, take it out of the lab. I want to see a scene that's taken out of the lab. And what I did, she liked, so I have a few of those. One of them is a benefit at the Brooklyn Library for AIDS. And Harry thinks, for example, that there should be no money raised for AIDS because AIDS is already cured. They should give him all the money. I mean, there are ways of thinking like that. So,
I thought the struggle for funding definitely came across the situation
Yeah.
of the little guy versus the elites within that environment, you know.
I also thought that came across, yeah.
but we could read the New York Times for that, right? We don't need to go to a screenplay or an FFG, take everyone's time for that. So it has to be given in a
dramatic.
Pardon me?
A dramatic way.
I think so. Yes, with more drama involved and more appealing way. Let me put it this way.
And if it's a screenplay, it could be that these characters, and like the person you were speaking to had said, to get out of the lab, is you might want to show how this struggle affects their personal life outside of the lab and what they have to go through, and maybe there's much more emotion being shown of what's happening to them because of this fear of losing.
Correct.
Losing.
I did put such a scene, but then I had to take it out. There are scenes between Semra and her estranged son. There are scenes of developing relationship between Dale and Semra. And there's a flashback to why Semra is so reluctant to Dale, who seems to be with whom she refuses to make eye contact. But there's a very good reason for why she feels that time is closing on her. She has a very, very small window. And so she has put all her personal life away. But Dale breaks through to reach to her. But we also see by flashbacks her she had an excellent job in Philadelphia, and she had really had an enviable situation, which unfortunately had to come to an end because of divorce, marriage, difficulties in life. And life happened to her and did not left her in Brooklyn and in that or in an inner city, Bronx, wherever. But there's a great deal about Semra's inner person that changes during this ethical or personal decisions, that at every crossroads she becomes a little bit more different. So
I had a question.
Yeah.
I lobbied for Harry to stay in because I thought those last two scenes actually did have drama. They actually had pressure and tension, and especially the last scene between Lee and Harry, where the subtext is, and I love the subtext there, OJ, the subtext where the boss pressures the underling to basically cheat, to engage in intellectual misconduct, if she knew what's good for her, you know. And I thought that worked very well. I had a question: does Semra in some way connect with that dispute?
Yes.
In your screenplay.
She does, because she supports Lee, who, yeah, she does actually. Yeah, I don't want to give out too much of the screenplay because I still have hopes for it. Things happen to Lee, and Semra is deeply involved, and as is Harry.
Yeah, it seems like, I think this piece, you definitely need to see more of it, because you really need to get into the characters and their lives to understand what they're going through.
It's just not it's yeah, I
Well,
get what you're saying.
When you only have 10 pages
Mhm.
from a much larger work, significantly larger work, isn't it a challenge to actually be able to miniaturize a full story when you're only dealing with a fragment?
I think it probably is, but I would still suggest that if you want to present a long piece in this venue, you can do it, but you have to do it in 10-minute pieces at a time. And I would start at the beginning, like Tasman has done, and just keep presenting us so that we can follow the story, we can get invested in the characters, and we can kind of go along with the story. I think what OJ has done was very difficult, where you're taking pieces from, you know, different periods in the screenplay and trying to, you know, condense them into one piece. But in you speaking of what you're trying to do, I believe there's a really good story in there, and it would be great to be able to care more about these characters and what they're going through.
Thank you very much for saying that. Then I mean, I could show, as a matter of fact, I did think of showing the very beginning, except the very beginning is an action piece without any conversation. Someone does something.
Oh, okay.
And the reader will read what they're doing. Would that be of any interest? I mean, I could send it to you, and you can tell me if it's worth reading or not. But
Well, is it 10 minutes of action, or is it a beginning?
no,
of
it's not 10 minutes of action. It's probably, I don't know, 3, maybe 2, 2.5, a good 2.5, a long 2.5.
Okay.
Yes.
Paul?
Yeah, you know, I think episodics are very much in vogue right now. And I think a lot of the screenwriters are thinking in episodic structure these days. And it's probably because of the streaming services. And
well, I
mean, I'm not saying feature films are going to die, but I think they've sort of taken a back seat to episodics these days.
Yes, I think so. And this topic and this story renders itself to something like that. But its actual way it flows is that it goes in 2 directions, like similar to a little bit like This Is Us, but not quite. That's a TV series. Semra's backstory, how she started in Philadelphia, and how despite the fact that she is an FMG, and she wasn't expecting. She was just sitting next to someone at dinner, and she just landed a good job, and because she's so hardworking and was able to show herself. So Philadelphia started like that, and there's a little life in Philadelphia. But then we start with Brooklyn, which is where she ends up, and her past life is shown, and in a way that as her life moves forward, we go back and back in her Philadelphia life, and it ends with whatever happens to Semra in the end, and how she originally got what happened to her when she had first started her career. In other words, one goes forward and the other one goes backward, and it's not really confusing. My English is not, I'm not fluent enough and not capable enough to explain it, but I'm capable enough, I think, to write it so that some people understood and criticized it.
Joyce, did you have something you wanted?
Yeah, I really liked the script, but I felt like it was a part of a bigger project. And I know for myself, I don't always want to share everything, but I have to concur with Paul that doing your script, or what I teach film, and when I tell my students about setting up the scenes, is that each event in a movie is an episode or a sequence of events. And if you go to any movie, everything is broken up into 15-minute slots. Because the attention span of the average person is 15 minutes, okay? So if you go to a movie, you'll notice the first opening scene is to establish the date, the time, the tone of that film. So when you want to share something, change the names, okay? So that you can maintain your original intellectual property. But at the same time, what I find with this group, it's really great to be able to hear your work being spoken.
Exactly,
But
I was very
at the same time,
grateful.
you don't have a lot of time to do that, because I had the same problem. I had scenes and I had more people, and I'm like, how can I condense this? But if you break up the events in the film in sequences, then you have a better idea. In the script, you tried to give us a whole lot of ideas about each of the characters, which was great. But I felt that Selma, the main lead, she is a very complex character. She's a Muslim woman. And we didn't get a chance to pull that out, but we find that out about her son. And it seems as though the dynamics between her and her son are very stressed. Okay.
I took that out at last night, for example, her and her son, because I thought it was so out of context and it became so sentimental compared to the rest of the story. Now I understand that it was a mistake, and there was a very good actor
Exactly, because that's her
was
motivation.
playing it, who was willing to play it. So I sort of like missed my chance on that.
Well, her son reveals a lot about her state of mind.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that that's important to be able to, that would have been a great scene if we could have seen those dynamics. But yeah, I think
What do you
doing
think
it-
about that?
I do think, it was hard for me to decide as of yesterday. When you took it out, I was like, oh, when I read the edits, I was like, that makes sense. But now that she says that, maybe we should have left that in. When you had sent today the script, I was like, it makes sense just to have the lab scenes. But now I'm thinking about what she's saying, and probably we should have left that in. Yeah.
What do you think?
You can always present that scene next month.
Yeah, that's true.
I think if I do next month, I think I will start from the beginning and do a first 10 minutes and initiate the story.
That's good. Yeah.
I don't have to change names. It's been, for whatever it's worth, who wants this, number one? And then number two, it's copyrighted. And so.
Yeah, I'd
It's
be
an
good to start.
opportunity to present something. I'm terribly touched by by people's interest.
I like what we presented. I mean, the copy. I like the idea of the story. And I think it'd be cool to start from the beginning. I would love to see the rest of it because I think it's good. So I don't know. I think the characters are well developed, which I like. So
How were the microphones? Because my computer's microphone is its own microphone, so I could
hear
make
everybody.
something better. You could?
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody with me. Yeah.
And if I have to in the edit, I can boost the volume a little bit.
Okay.
If I
I'm
do.
sorry. I mean, Donato was such a good Sam character, and he was ready to read it. I'm sorry now I took it out. But anyway.
Trial and error. So there you go.
So our next one is Librarians Embrace Fiction.
That was funny.
I wish we'd had more time.
That
Rehearsal.
was funny. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny.
Is
Well
Vic
done, Ray.
still, did Vic leave?
He
Yes.
did. He said he had to go.
Yeah.
Him being in his car seemed to be the perfect scene for him.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know if it was just mine, but I had a little trouble hearing Leslie and Elizabeth sometimes. I
Yes,
hope I
me too.
It just seemed that when Leslie first talked, it was like, and then after maybe 3 words, her volume came up. So I'm not sure
Yeah.
why that happened.
Because I don't know if mine was off, but yeah.
No,
it was
we
off.
can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, the other
again,
not so much. Yeah.
with Rex's comedies, clever, creative. Just, I mean, it doesn't bother me like, oh, a portal opens in a library. Okay, what's going to happen? Believable. It's funny, and an honor again working with Leslie and Elizabeth and Victor. Just a lot of fun, and just great job. Just very funny stuff.
So good.
Did it work for you, Rex?
Yeah, so thank you so much, actors. So we had quite a bit of a struggle with technical difficulties in our rehearsal and people arriving late and not having scripts, etc. But we got there in the end. And this is the third and final part of our trilogy called 3 Weird Mornings at the Library. So this is the weirdest one where the 2 women characters that we had all the way through finally get their romantic ending.
That's right.
Yeah. But one of the weirdest things about libraries in America is that the librarians actually do have drill cart routines where they dance around with library carts. So if ever this gets put on stage as a trilogy, as a finale after the curtain calls, I'll have all the 4 actors come on doing their little dance with the carts. As a post-credit sequence.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I forgot my one word. I tried to show this and forgot to say proof.
You
About
know,
the belly button. But
you know, when you lifted your shirt up, your green screen came through on your skin.
Oh, God.
So I it was a very effective special effect.
Oh, then in that case, I planned it. In that case, I planned it that way. In that case, it was planned that way.
You meant to do that.
I'm sorry, my mic was muted for half the time, but you know, in Burbank, 15 years ago, starting wage for a page at a library was $13 an hour.
Wow.
Well, everyone else was getting $6, $7 an hour.
Yeah.
I was getting $9 an hour. And so there were like 11 people. They were going to interview 11 people for 3 openings. And then we had to take a test. More than 3,000 people came to take the test.
Wow.
And
3,000?
in my first job, when I was still in high school, was working in a library where they paid us 20 cents below the minimum wage, which at the time was $1.70. So, you know, the world was upside down.
Wow.
Wow.
That's quite something.
No, I'm glad I got to be part of the trilogy. Thank you, Rex. That was fun.
Very good.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss the librarian.
Me too. Me too.
Oh, where's
Yeah.
Courtney going?
Well, you can see Elaine and I in video games. Now that we went through the portal together.
That's the one.
Encore. We want a sequel, Rex.
Yes.
I was having endless technical problems because I was trying to get you on Zoom through a laptop that was circulated by the library. You can now check out computers and hotspot. So at least I'm using the hotspot, but now I'm on an Amazon tablet to get a better connection. So again, weird world. But Rex, I think you'll find the librarians have gone back to the last episode and now made a wish that the series continues. So they're going to start over.
Well, I have done in the past. I have written a trilogy and then edited another episode afterwards. So never say never.
There you go. Watch this space.
Well, it'd be interesting to know what a library does in the future of the gaming world.
Right.
Now that she's been transported back to the gaming world.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our
I
last
think your challenge has been thrown down, Rex. But knowing you, you'll have another play by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it'll be funny as all.
Yes.
Definitely, yeah.
And next is Tasman's A Candlelight Surprise, and that was a very, very delightful surprise.
That was cool.
And
Actors, oh my God, Paul.
you keep
goodness.
typecasting Paul.
Fabulous. He's a successful, proud lawyer, the cool and condescending husband, a peppering of charm. There we are. And his demand. Oh my goodness me.
I mean, it had to be a hit. You
I
had a
love it.
dynamic duo in Susan and Paul, and then you add a fantastic writer like the Jahanian writer, Tasman.
You are
And, I mean, it started out like,
but I only
okay,
do
what
half
is
of the
this?
work.
And then I loved Paul playing it so real, like, oh, like it was nothing to him. Yeah, I just want to cheat. And then
I'm
still
just
right.
getting
And then
commission.
Susan building up. And then when they did say at the end, I thought, oh, that's the only thing I did catch on. Oh, it's going to be the same lady.
Oh,
Either that
brilliant.
was going to turn into a llama.
I
No
particularly
llamas. No llamas this time. No llamas. But this is I mean, really delighted to present it tonight. This is play number 22 of 365. And when I realized that we were doing it tonight, because obviously I emailed the script a while back, I was like, oh, it's that scene, because I have to recall which scene it is, because there are just so many. So, oh, it's that one. And I just thought, with Paul and Susan at the helm, oh my God, it's going to be a cracker. And it was just so funny. I had to hold my breath because I was doing stage directions. I couldn't laugh out loud. So I had to just keep it together. And I think there were just so many lines that Paul delivered, and he being the successful lawyer, and he just thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to put it on the table. Let's see, I'm hoping she'll say yes. And they've been married for 15 years. Why would she even say yes?
Yeah, every reply got funnier and funnier and funnier.
Yeah.
Well played, both of you.
Yeah, and presenting her with the pink diamond earrings, how lovely was that, with the lovely dinner, only to actually ask her, well, I need to be with someone who isn't you.
Yeah, that was the best. That was my favorite line. Someone who isn't you.
I like that too, yeah.
Full-time lover? How about a part-time lover? Oh, you philosophizing
that.
about
Yeah, he was negotiating it.
Yeah, I love that. I was part-time
He was being a lawyer
No.
throughout, wasn't he? He was being a lawyer throughout, negotiating, kind of summing up with the jury.
The art of the deal.
Yeah, and I've got this in the bag. But then the tables turn, and she's like, whoa. And when he says that line, it's imperative that I impress you. And then Bethany was like, wait a minute. What? Imperative that I impress you? And then it kind of goes downhill. But he finishes it off really nicely. And I know I wrote this, but I forget.
Yeah.
Right sometimes. And he finishes it off with, where are you going? Don't you want dessert? And that dessert name, which is a long name, it costs over $14,000 for dessert.
Whoa.
Yeah, so let me just find that name again. It took me, I mean, I can't say it in one go, I can't even remember it. But yeah, it's, you know, he's like, yeah, you know, I'm so cool. I could have all the money in the world to give you these pink diamonds, and aren't you now going to have dessert? So what if I've asked you for, you know, your permission for a full-time lover? So it is called The Fortress Stilt Fisherman Indulgence. And it's over $14,000 if you are ever thinking of having it. So there you go.
Yeah, I think I read it's the most expensive dessert in the world.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought it was one of the most expensive, but yeah, perhaps at one point it was. Yeah,
Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not anymore. But
yeah, but at the time, yeah. So it's over $14,000. So he's pulling out all the stops so that he can get his own way. Oh, the fool you are, Nicholas.
Yeah.
Well, I
But
have to,
beautifully executed. Thank you so much. So
thank you,
fun.
I
really
don't want to be typecast as wanting to kill my husband every scene. So
I am so sorry.
I
Next
do
time.
like men, you know, generally. But
And I love the way he says, you said, I am going to kill you. And he said, it's illegal. Stating the obvious. Yeah, it's illegal. I don't care. I do. Looking forward to the clip, and always an honor working with you both, working with any actor. And you know, you give it so much life. You know, as I always say, writers only do 50% of the work. It doesn't matter how many hours you spend on that page. And then the actors simply bring it to life. And it's amazing when they do. And you know, you hear those words and you think, oh my God, it's all falling into place. And you can see where the stresses are. And you know, when the actors have certain feedback, and it's lovely. And it's, you know, Play 22 is one of my favorites. I'm not saying the rest is bad, but it's certainly one of my favorites. Let's put it that way.
it was
And thank you.
fantastic writing, Tasma.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was brilliant. You were
Dude,
brilliant.
I liked it too. I love the banter back and forth, the quick wittiness of it, you know, that it was, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. And it would be, it's nice that she got up and left. I mean, my God, you'd have to leave. You can't stop with that. You have to leave. the table.
Everything just flowed so beautifully from the writing to the performances, which were so real in this completely weird situation. But I completely believed the characters. I thought Susan Paul did it just so brilliantly,
Yeah.
and there was something about the script as if it was almost writing itself as they went along. I
I
mean,
agree with you there. Yes.
yes, it wasn't as if it had been planned or anything. I mean, it was like a spontaneous thing that was happening, and
It was like they were a married couple.
Yeah.
Thank
It was like being
They were acting like they had been married for 15 years. And it's all going down the drain now.
I like
it
how
was
one
like
of
being, it
them,
was like being a fly on the wall.
Yes,
Hearing this.
yes.
I like how
right
one
there.
of them didn't take himself, the male character didn't take himself too seriously. You know, this was all just fun and games to him. He wants a love or whatever, and she's very serious. And he's like, whatevs, you know, I'll just take a part-time, whatever, you know. She's like, no, you know.
The negotiation.
Yes.
As if,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that. Oh, I'm so sorry. He's not apologetic about who he is. And, you know, full-time lover. And he's sort of, he knows it's a bit of a delicate subject. And he says, I need to be with someone who isn't you.
Definitely an attorney, definitely a lawyer. All the way through.
Definitely a lawyer.
Clueless.
Definitely a lawyer. But
It
I
was-
love
it
the
was
fact
fun
that
being
he was trying. He honestly thought he had it in the bag, you know. So yeah. Looking forward to the clip, Stephen. Looking forward to the clip already. Once you're ready.
Our next one will be May 28th.
Oh, okay, very good.
Oh, May 28th.
Right.
Great.
That's Memorial Day weekend. Are you actually doing things?
I have no life. I'll be there.
I'll probably be there too. So
Where are we today? 20. Oh, it's the 24th for me already. So I'm going to go to the spot. Here we go. 28. Works for me, but if it's
I'm fine with that too. I'm not going
Yeah.
any.
We'll see what responses we get. If we get enough writers, enough actors, we'll go ahead.
All right, sounds good.
28th it is then.
All right.
It's always
Which
fun
one should I
reading
choose
reading
next?
from you
Thank you so
writers.
much. This is so fun.
Thank you.
Thank you
You
guys.
writers are so great.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Oakley. This was great.
This is fabulous. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Carla.
Always
Thank you,
love you.
Trish.
Thank you. This was great. I
Thank
enjoyed it a lot.
you.
Yeah.
Great job, everybody.
Bye.
Good
Bye.
night.
Thank you,
Bye.
Stephen. Take
Welcome.
care, everyone. Bye.